Shri Arunachal Ramanaya. Om. Namaste everyone. Anyone has any question or doubts? Hello, Steve.
Hey, Sanjay. You talk, which I think I know why, about being convinced, removing doubt, that kind of thing. I was wondering, though, because, all spiritual literature talks about how double-mindedness, rather than making a final decision that I'm going to have this be my main goal in life, is a recipe for disaster. So doubt is this vestibule that we must all pass through. It's one way of looking at it. The other way is, it's like people say, well, your mind is active, you got to quiet it. But some people say, well, let it do what it wants to do. Just ignore it. What do you think about applying that same logic, you might say, to doubt? I got doubts, but by God, I'm just going to ignore them and go ahead anyway. Or might you say, well, that would be good, except if you do have those doubts, you're not going to make that decision to go ahead. So, have some thoughts about that? Or anybody? Ignoring is a very powerful tool.
Look, doubts are also thoughts, isn't it? They are not different from thoughts. Doubts means there's a thought about whatever action you have to take or decision you make. There's a doubt that you're not sure whether this should be done or not. This is what the doubt is. It is also it is indecisiveness of the mind to do or not to do. To do or not to do comes only when there is doership. This is the most important thing. When there is a doership, then only the doubts comes. When there is no doership, who is doing what? So doubts also comes when there is doership. There is no doership, there is no doubt. Because problem is only one, that all our actions are guided only by thoughts. We don't know anything else because everyone in this world is in a role, and they all believe they are the doers of that role. They are doing. It is their job, their responsibility. Yesterday, I was asking a person who was new to the group, and I asked him what he thinks about some higher power or God or anything. He said, I'm sitting on the fence. I don't know. I have doubts. So we have doubts about everything, whether there is a higher power, whether. But one thing we don't have doubt is that I am the doer and I need liberation. This is question for a seeker. But ultimately, with deep inquiry, we understand mind is the problem, mind has doubts, mind is in bondage, mind needs liberation. But we are not the mind. We don't need liberation. We don't have any doubts. We are not the doer. Practice is to take away our identification with mind as I. And this identification drops on contemplation, on deep inquiry, on constant inquiry. Not the inquiry just for during a satsang or maybe half an hour every day. This continues inside you once you know it. And it does not continue all the time that who am I? Who am I? You ask not even as a question. You just anything coming as identity, you question it, you watch it. Your watching takes you to your witness self. You don't become witness, you are witness to everything. Understand you are something which cannot be watched. And we all know that thoughts can be watched. Even this I amness, ego, this can be watched. We can see it, how it works in our internal mind. But this one which can watch everything, can it be watched? Can you watch yourself? Watch the watcher. Watch the one which is watching everything. You will realize that the moment you start practicing this watcher, this the one which you can watch is only ego. Because ego is the one which is seeing all these thoughts, which feels there is a doubt about a decision making. Try to understand this whole world is because of thoughts. The whole world and our self-constructed God and our individual identity and this whole world is only because of thoughts, nothing else. These thoughts creates dream at night, sometimes beautiful dreams, sometimes horror movies. Same thoughts, they give rise to a body and the word and everything. Rather than sorting out these thoughts, we try to sort out the one who is involved with these thoughts. Beyond thoughts, there is no word, no individual, no doership. When we transcend thoughts, there is pure existence of Brahman, pure energy, untainted, raw, which does not know any future, any past, which is pure presence.
May I ask a follow-up question? May I ask a follow-up question?
What is the question?
It was whether I could ask a question, but the part of why this was top of mind for me today was yesterday I was having a discussion with this guy who, like you say, there's different maturity in seekers. He's a pretty mature seeker. And he was talking about doubts and doership, which we've talked about, like, how do I know something is coming from me or from God, that kind of thing, to boil it down. We got into that. And I said, well, he said, I also have these doubts. I sit around thinking about it and fretting, and, it's like, is this thing real in the first place? And I thought about, I know Ramana Maharshi would have people come and he would kind of address them at their level. They wouldn't say, well, go ahead and do self-inquiry if they aren't ready. If the person says, I'm meditating, is that doing okay for you? Yeah. And he had sense to not push the person beyond that, and maybe later they'll graduate to a more mature form of spirituality. So I said to this guy, which maybe I should not have, I said, I tell you what, don't even worry about the doership part. Tell you what, just go ahead and mechanically, whenever you have a doubt, instead of thinking about it and fretting about it, don't give it any quarter. Just ignore it and go back to your practice. And let's see what happens with the doership. Maybe it's kind of it's a higher level question, the whole thing about doership. It's and maybe if you can just ignore the doubt, go ahead the best you can, then maybe later you'll have a better insight about the doership, or the whole thing will just kind of not be a problem for you anymore. So that's what I was, part of what I was asking, whether that was, not that I was advising him, but that was sort of what came to mind. Whether ignoring it would be a good pathway to higher things, including really living the non-doership.
Look, ignoring is best if you can ignore. But if you can't ignore, then question yourself, who is having the doubt? Who is the doer if the doership is an issue? Who means you're trying to go deeper into this identity, whether it really exists, or if it exists, then who am I? It's not just the seekers who have this question. Anyone who is born on earth at least has this doubt once in their lifetime, that what I am doing, why I am doing. Is this end of life after death of the body? Am I on a journey? Do I really have to go through all this? It is not an intellectual question. It's a deep-rooted problem of humanity, which only we have to address if we are really interested to find the answer. Good thing is, or bad thing is, that most of the people have this question. They sit on this question for hours or days and then never again comes to them. Seeker has madness about it. He really wants to know the answer where all doubts disappear, where he can be fully convinced. And I have to say, no answer can make you fully convinced. Only your own experiential understanding can satisfy you. You need to know that you are Brahman. Not just someone is saying you are Brahman and the chapter is closed and you can continue with your life. It doesn't work like that. With the simple reason, because what our life is governed by our mind, thoughts, as a person. This whole framework needs to be deconstructed and dissolved. Then the Brahman is seen. If the sky is full of clouds, heavy, thick clouds, there is no sunshine. And these clouds of thoughts are nothing but desires, unending desires, attachments, aversion. All this world is created nothing but by mind. So, intellectual understanding does not give you peace, happiness, satisfaction, contentment. Because life continues, even it's written in all the books. You can read in a book and you can say, now I know. Okay, now you know intellectually, but can you stay there? The answer would be no. I still have thoughts which are running amok. They take me from one place to another to another. Looks like I'm slave of my doership. More intellectual I am, more academically oriented I am, more I am a slave. Simplicity is the key. Contentment is the key. Thoughts give rise to actions, give rise to fruits of action, give rise to more actions.
All right, well, thank you for that. The main thing I needed to hear were the first 5 words you said just then, which were ignoring doubts is the best. So I'm going to let the conversation stand that he and I had yesterday. So thank you for that assurance, I guess I would say.
Chantal, do you want to talk?
Okay. I don't know why I bother. It's so uncomfortable to me for some reason, but about doubt. So yesterday I had a little moment where I looked outside of the world, and then I thought, like it was almost like a feeling of doubt, and then I thought, but there's nothing out there to. There's nothing out there when you look at. If you externalize your thinking, there's nothing there. Like that's how I'm perceiving it. So there's no room for a lot of doubt when you're not really relating to what you're perceiving outward. To me, it's like I don't even have the choice anymore. There's nothing out there. So what would I be? I would be doubting what what's out there. There's nothing else. It's just like it's really dull. There's nothing. So for me, doubt is not um, such an issue. Does that make sense?
Is it a question or is it a statement?
No, I'm just putting in my 2 cents about doubt because I had sometimes, rarely, I'll have a moment where I look outside, I look at the world, and I say, oh, is there something out there for me? Am I missing anything? There's nothing there. I don't even, what is going to tempt me out there? What am I going to doubt about when it's all really relevant, right? So maybe I don't understand what you were asking when it comes to doubt. Like I don't, there's no room for doubt anymore.
If you have no doubts, then just be happy with that.
What's that?
If you have no doubts, that's okay, that's good.
Yeah, that's good, right? But it's not. I'm not missing anything, am I? Like to me, there's nothing out there. Like if there's a moment where I think, oh, like even trying to decide what I'm gonna wear, I gave up on that. It's gonna happen. Where to live, it's gonna happen. Like I don't even gauge into that stuff. And if I have to deal with people occasionally, then that sometimes it might I might get sucked in a little bit, but I just pull back. There's nothing there. So like all this asking and doubting and all this stuff is pointless. Just go back to yourself. That's all there is, right? That's my experience. So all this book knowledge and all this questioning, all this stuff, I don't have a need for that anymore. If I need to know something, it'll be told to me. Like it'll be, I'll experience it. Even that one sentence from Ramana Maharshi is so full of stuff. It's just, it tells you everything, right? I don't know. I'm just not experiencing doubt anymore. I hope I'm not like, maybe I'm disappearing. I don't know.
That's good. If it's keeping you happy, that's good.
Yeah, and things are happening to me clearly. Like, yeah, I had 8 fractures. Like like things are happening, but okay, it's that's it.
Very good.
So the doubt when you're talking about though you're talking about when you're externalizing your mind and you're still looking out there for stuff, right? When you're done doing that, you don't have any doubts anymore. I have no doubt. It's just myself. What when the mind tries to go, I stop it. I cannot stop it. I just don't. I'm not even interested in it. I know the ego is still there. I can see that sometimes. I'm like, it's really gross. And it's like, I don't want to engage with that. Doubt is what? Me. I love you guys. I still love you. Is there anything wrong with what I'm saying?
Why you are having doubts?
I'm not having doubts. I'm curious as to what's going to be projected back to me from you. Like where you're coming from. I'm okay where I'm coming from. I'm just curious. Maybe I shouldn't have curiosity. It's not even important. That's a distraction. Not even important. So thank you for asking me that question because it just gave me back to myself. Like I'm fine. I don't need. I don't even need the approval on what I'm experiencing in being with myself. I think you're right.
Thank you. Ellen?
Hi, yes. Hi. Yes, I totally agree with her. And I don't have much to say anymore because I feel like the practice is doing me. I don't feel like, not even the I. Um, on the path, it just, everything happens to me. And if something negative does happen, I feel like maybe it's a parabada, whatever you say, karma from another lifetime. But otherwise, doing just happens. My body, or this body does what it's supposed to do, and the days just go by.
Very good.
Thank you.
Understand all thoughts, all actions of the body. This whole world, which looks infinite, all beings, in everything, in sense perception, is nothing but projection of your mind. What do you want to fix? And who are you to fix? The one who tries to fix these things is also part of mind. We call that ego. Ego never becomes Brahman. It has no power. Brahman never becomes ego. Otherwise, it will be tainted. Brahman never becomes ego. Ego never becomes Brahman. Where are we? Then who is in the doubt? Who is entertaining all these thoughts? Who is living a life in the body? The one living life in the body is a Chidabhas. It is only a reflection. It is like we are living a life like a shadow. Now, shadow is real, but shadow as a being is unreal. If you see yourself in a mirror, would you call that picture in mirror as real or unreal? In a way, it is a real reflection of the person, but still it is a reflection. When you see moon image in water, in a pond, it's the image of the moon in reflection, not real moon. That Brahman gives energy for this being to sustain. But nothing happens to Brahman. Just like reflection of moon in a pond, you throw a stone, you do anything, nothing happens to real moon. You don't even touch real moon. When you're touching reflection of moon in water. Same happens here. Nobody even touches Brahman when they are doing all sorts of things in this projected mind. Just like in your dream at night, you do so many things, but when you wake up from dream, you know you have not done anything. It was just a dream. This body was not involved in dream. Same is that body of Brahman is not involved in this waking dream. Brahman also has a body. You can say the body has no form. The body has no hands, no legs. But the body of Brahman is you, me, and everyone. That Brahman is self, unaffected, uninvolved. There is nothing to fix in this world except our own identity. Stop identifying yourself in this reflected consciousness as you. That's all. Look within all the time. Be with the one who is giving this energy yet uninvolved, who is unborn, and because he is unborn, he never dies, he never goes away. You can ignore thoughts, give up ownership of thoughts, but try to find out who is talking to these thoughts. This is a more serious question. Who is the one who is suffering? Who is the one who is born and will die? To whom these thoughts talk to? Is that me? Okay, it is me. Let me find out this me. You can pick up any mindfulness, meditative practice, relaxation technique. You will feel some peace. But have you finished story of this mind-body complex forever? Is this small I still there? Which gets hurt all the time, which gives self-importance to itself, which wants to prove something to the world. And the sole purpose of this entity is to please senses of this body. So he or she is limited only to this body. Are you that? Or something beyond it? Untouched, untainted, pure. Know that the one who is playing role in the body is a reflection. If this body through which you are acting, doing, has a name, then you don't have a name. You have no name, no form. Like in your dream, you can create any instrument. Can that instrument of your dream can know you who is dreaming? You will say, this is an absurd question. How can a thing in a dream can know me? Even that instrument will be fake. And then comes this waking state. Same situation. And every Dick and Harry wants to prove that science can know self, Brahman. Everyone, people who have never learned science, they say to me, you are a neurologist. You should try to explain in your satsangs everything from science, from neuroscience. We try to bring Brahman below the level of mind as an object, as a guinea pig in our experimental lab, dissect it and try to find a truth and give you the truth in a petri dish. This is not even logical. The only thing scientific about Brahman is that you understand the philosophy, theory, and you work on it and you will get it. When we do experiments in science, the strength of the experiment or hypothesis is that whatever you have proven, you can reproduce the same result in another lab at another time. Self-realization is being attained by thousands or maybe millions of people in thousands of years in different parts of the world. What else do you want to know? If you want to know Brahman, you have to be the person who is doing experiment on your own self. If you do this experiment on someone else, that someone else will know it, but not you. It's not that people have not tried to do these experiments before. They picked up J. Krishnamurti, a boy, to do this experiment. He found the truth and left them. They stuck up in dream and he was out of dream. So they couldn't control him. I feel really sorry for them. And same with all the people who talk about realization but have no clue within them. They are only wasting their own time. Life is too short. Whatever theories and concepts we make about Brahman, they will only be in domain of mind. And they only serve a means to argue. And there is no end to arguments. So there are people in this world, so-called intellectuals and scientists, only arguing. But yes, there can be someone among them who has taken this bold step to know it and would be the real Jnani, knower of the truth. Knower of the truth is truth itself. There cannot be an outside person knowing the truth. The one who embarks on this journey to know truth disappears. This is the paradox. Because the one who is trying to know truth is only a reflection, not even real. Let's say reflection of moon in a pond wants to know itself. Only thing needed is to know that it is reflection and that is the moon. So moon knows where it is. If the moon thinks I am the reflection, only correction needed is to know that no, that is a reflection, I am here. This whole drama is a case of wrong identification. That is why after knowing, everyone says there is no one to realize, nothing to realize, no one in bondage. No one can claim I am realized. Like that moon in reflection is only a reflection, and the realization that I am the moon, no new discovery. It is always there. That is why we call this whole thing as illusion, Maya. Get out of the illusion. Truth can only be known in your inner silence. Inner silence can be gained in absence of thoughts. Absence of thought can be achieved when there is no ego. An ego can disappear only by deeper inquiry. questioning the doer. Who am I? Who am I will take you to inner silence, beyond this world. It will transcend you from mind. Mind is bound by time and space. Anything bound by time and space is changing, is impermanent. Brahman is eternal because it is never born. It is not in any time, so it never changes. It is not restricted in any space. Or you can say it is everywhere. Ego never knows Brahman. When ego is dissolved, Brahman knows Brahman. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.